The shadow of Anne Boleyn looms large over English history, a tragic tale of ambition, love, and betrayal that forever altered the nation's religious and political landscape. A courtier of noble birth, she rose to become Queen of England, only to be brought down by intrigue and accusations that historians have debated for centuries. But who was Anne Boleyn, and what led to her infamous execution? Her life story, deeply entwined with the tumultuous reign of King Henry VIII, is one filled with historical intrigue and lessons that continue to resonate. Anne Boleyn's journey began in the glittering courts of Europe. Coming from a noble family, she served as a maid of honor to Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's first wife. Her time abroad refined her into an elegant, educated woman, skilled in courtly arts such as dancing and singing, and adept at navigating the political landscapes of power. She caught the eye of King Henry VIII, but Anne's initial refusal to become his mistress set a chain of events into motion that would change the course of England forever. Despite her reluctance, Anne eventually accepted a courtship with the king, not knowing it would cost her her legacy and eventually her life. Historians agree that Anne's intelligence and charm captivated Henry, but it was her potential to deliver a male heir that fueled his obsession. However, this pursuit carried a cost. His growing attachment to Anne saw him challenge the Catholic Church, setting the stage for England's religious reformation. Anne Boleyn was not just a catalyst for the king's desires. She became a political force whose life and death shifted the course of Christianity in England. Her refusal to be Henry's mistress convinced him to seek a divorce from Queen Catherine, which Pope Clement VII vehemently refused. Locked in a standoff with Rome, Henry VIII broke from the Catholic Church under the guidance of his chief minister, Thomas Cromwell. This monumental decision resulted in the establishment of the Church of England in 1534, with Henry VIII at its head. Anne, who had promoted Protestant thinkers and ideas during her rise in court, became a major figure in this upheaval. She and Henry were secretly married in January 1533, 3 years after Henry began his battle to annul his first marriage. Yet her triumph was fleeting. Her inability to provide a male heir, coupled with court rivalries, placed a swift target on her back. Anne Boleyn's meteoric rise had always been fraught with enemies. Chief among them was Thomas Cromwell, a man who aided her ascent by orchestrating Henry's break from Rome, but later became her fiercest adversary. Anne's political ambitions clashed with Cromwell's plans for court and state, particularly regarding foreign policy and England's finances. As their tensions escalated, Cromwell saw an opportunity to remove her and solidify his control by aligning with the king's desires. Historical intrigue deepens when examining the charges leveled at Anne Boleyn. Cromwell, historians suspect, manipulated the situation to construct a narrative of treachery. Anne was accused of committing adultery with multiple men, including her own brother George, as well as of conspiring to kill the king. Her accusers, many of whom were tortured into confessing, painted a grim picture of betrayal that echoed Henry's growing disillusionment with her. Whether Cromwell acted out of political strategy or self-preservation remains a point of historical speculation. What is clear, however, is that his actions served to fulfill Henry's wish to marry Jane Seymour. In May 1536, Anne Boleyn was arrested and brought to the Tower of London. Her trial on May 15th was a dramatic affair filled with spectacle and heartbreak. The jury that found her guilty included several men with vested interests in her downfall, among them her own uncle and former fiancé. Convicted of adultery, incest, and high treason, Anne faced a fate that was as swift as it was brutal. Anne went to her death with dignity, maintaining her innocence until the end. On May 19, 1536, she was executed at Tower Green, not by the traditional axe, but by a skilled French swordsman, an act Henry claimed was an act of mercy. Within days, the king wed Jane Seymour, seemingly unmoved by the demise of his former queen. Echoes of Anne Boleyn's life reverberate through modern historical discourse. Was she truly guilty of the charges levied against her, or was she a pawn sacrificed in a game of courtly power? Many historians believe the evidence against her was fabricated. Her deeply religious and highly scrutinized life at court would have left little room for the alleged affairs. Historian Eustace Chapuis, a staunch supporter of Catherine of Aragon, painted her in a negative light, contributing to her vilification. What makes Anne's story all the more compelling is the broader context of her time. Patriarchal narratives of the 16th century often framed women in power as schemers, using deception and seduction to achieve their ends. Anne's story, viewed through this lens, offers modern audiences a cautionary tale about how history has treated women in politics. Teachers, scholars, and enthusiasts continue to delve into her life to correct the biases and uncover the political stakes hidden beneath accusations of witchcraft and vice. Though her life ended tragically, Anne Boleyn's legacy endures in fascinating ways. As the mother of Elizabeth I, one of history's most celebrated monarchs, Anne played a role in shaping the future of England far beyond her years. Elizabeth's reign would mark a golden age of culture, exploration, and power, standing as a rebuke to the injustices her mother endured. Anne's story is not merely a cautionary tale or a grim reminder of Henry VIII's tyranny. It is a lens through which we examine the fragile balance of power, gender, and influence in history. History enthusiasts are drawn to her not only because of the political intrigue surrounding her downfall, but also because her rise speaks to the resilience, intellect, and courage that defied expectations of her time. Anne Boleyn's life invites us to reflect on how history is written and remembered. What lessons lie hidden amid the whispers of Tudor courts? How do character assassinations in history reflect deeper insecurities about power and gender? Her tale compels us to view history not as static, but as a dynamic narrative constantly shaped and reshaped by the storytellers of each generation. In retelling stories like Anne Boleyn's, we give voice to those silenced by history. Her life, filled with ambition and tragedy, offers a vivid reminder of history's transient nature, challenging history enthusiasts to look beyond the surface and uncover the truths hidden beneath centuries of assumptions and judgment.